My client Marco went from making 1k per month with his coaching and agency business, and now just a few months later he's hitting record months, and we are now on track to scale his business to over 5k per month, and he's able to close deals, book multiple calls with qualified leads every single week. And below are just a few of the results Marco has been getting, and today I will walk you through exactly how I helped him achieve this growth. So as you can see here on the pictures, he's booking multiple calls every single week, both from inbound and outbound. He's closing deals. But firstly, let's talk about his situation before we started working together. Firstly, he had no clear structure behind his personal brand or business. He had no systems in place, and the client acquisition was unpredictable. And this is exactly how we fixed this. So firstly, the first thing we did was to optimize his Instagram profile, which is super important because that's how you build trust, etc. Because before we started working together, it looked like shit. He had no clear structure, no proof, and no method, plus no ICP, which is super important to have because otherwise people won't know who you actually help. And this is how his profile looks like right now. So firstly, the profile picture is super professional. It really matches his branding. We have added 2 business pages at the top, which will build a lot of trust, and it is proof that what he actually do works. Then for his bio, he explains who he helps, then he has his own method to it. And the reason to why having your own method in a bio and why we implemented that into Marco's Instagram is because when people see that you have your own method for what you do, they are going to see you as different from every other coach out there. So that's super important to have. Then of course we optimized his story highlights as here, but I'm going to talk more about that soon. But firstly, let's talk about his business pages. This is the first one for his agency, and the reason for why we have business pages is because, as before, it builds a lot of trust, and when people see that, they will see him as more professional. They will see that he actually owns a business. He's not just saying it. So as you can see here in the bio, he basically just explains what he helps with his service. Then we have some different posts on this page. We mostly show social proof because that's the only thing people actually care about. They don't care about how you actually help them. They only care about the results that they will get from working with him. So that's why we just created business pages with just purely social proof, plus we of course made it look super professional. Then for his second page right here, this is for his coaching business. The same here, he only showcase as much proof as possible, and instead of just showing pictures of wins, etc., he's telling stories about each, because you have to realize as a coach that people simply don't just buy from a review or a simple picture. They buy into stories, and that's exactly why he's telling them about each win that he gets for his clients, because that's how people buy into his coaching. So that's super important. Then when it comes to actual story highlights on his Instagram profile, the main one, the personal one, we optimize these too. And this is super important because the story highlights are the ones that people will click on before they actually go and buy. So it's super important that you build up enough trust here and that you connect with them, because if you don't do that, people will simply not trust you and buy from you. So the first story highlight that we implemented was the one called Start Here, which is also one of the most important ones, since this is the one that most people will click on when they get to his profile. And in this one, he basically just explains his story, shows as much proof as possible, position himself as authority, explains his method, and have a clear CTA by the end of it to a YouTube video, which is his YouTube VSL. Then we have another one called Client Wins or Clients, as you can see here, and in this one he just basically shows much social proof that for his clients, etc., and this will build lots of trust. Then we have the one called Proof, and in this one he basically just show what he actually does work. And then lastly we have the one called Life, and in the one called Life he basically just shows his personality and who he is as a person, because people don't buy offers, they buy into you as a coach before they buy your offer. So that's exactly why we have that one in place. And these are the 4 stories that he's focusing on posting on a daily basis, and it's super important that you understand this and that you post the right type of stories, because each story that you post plays a specific role. So let's start with the one called proof right here. This is basically stories that shows that what you actually do works. It can be your own wins, it can be literally anything that just basically showcase that what you do works. Then social proof, just post about these clients on a daily basis, because when people see that over and over again, they're firstly going to get nurtured and they will understand how good his coaching actually is, and that will then lead to them buying from him. Then document/life, just show how you are as a person, how your life looks like on a daily basis, and how their life could look like if they decided to change and join his coaching. Then lastly, the promotional story sequences. This should be a 3 to 10 long story sequence promoting your coaching with a CTA. And of course, you always don't have to sit there and promote saying the same thing like DM me a specific word to work with me. No, you should promote free resources in these too, and that's exactly what he's doing. Because when people DM him to get access to a specific free resource, like a YouTube video for example, he will firstly send that over to him, and when they watch that YouTube video it will build a lot of trust. Plus he will also be able to start conversation with each person that wanted the video and decided to reach out to him, and then from there he can just get them on a call. Super simple. And this can be value story sequences, storytelling story sequences, it can be about his clients, etc. So it can literally be about anything, but it of course has to relate with coaching. So that's what we did when it comes to his stories, and this is exactly how we structure them. So firstly, it always starts with a statement/hook, because you want to hook people into the story so that they actually watch it from the first place. Then we hit pain points, because people buy when they feel like they need a solution to the problem that you're actually solving with your coaching. So that's super important, and that's what we implemented into him. Then desired outcome. He explains with his story where his prospects want to be and where they want to get, and he positioned himself and his coaching as the solution for it. Then we have the method, which is basically the one-step method as he basically call it, and that is his way to actually help them get from point A to point B. Then he positions him as the authority by showing social proof, or positioning himself as the authority by showing his story, etc. Then we end with a clear call to action. As I said before, this doesn't only have to be like the same one as everyone is posting, like DM me a specific word to work with me. No, he's also promoting free resources, because that's what people care about, and that will get you more people reaching out. So if you're watching this video right now, I definitely recommend you to try that. Don't just promote your coaching all the time, promote free resources too, because that will also build tons of trust. Then let's move over to the content. This is where we made most of the changes, because before he didn't have any structure behind this. He was only posting random content hoping that something would eventually work, but that's not how it works. You need to realize as a coach that every specific piece of content that you post out there plays a specific role, and that's exactly what I'm going to show you right now. So what we're focusing now on is firstly authentic content that shows who you are as a person. Super important. Then value videos, those should build trust and position yourself as the authority. Storytelling content should connect you with the viewer, because people buy when they feel like they can firstly relate to you, and the only way for people to feel that connection and for them to be able to relate to you is by posting your story and sharing that, because that's how people relate. Then lastly, proof content, where he talks about his clients and positions him as the authority. So these are basically the 4 content styles that we focus on when it comes to the short form Instagram content. Then let's move over to YouTube. So before we started working together, he didn't have any YouTube channel in place, and we live in a time where the all-time trust right now is at an all-time low, and people simply don't just trust you from short-form content anymore. They need to spend more time with you, and the only way for you to do that is by you having a YouTube channel, because it's super important. Like, it's super hard to build up enough trust and enough connection you need in order for make someone to buy with short form content alone. That's why you need the long form content in place, and that's exactly why we started posting on YouTube, because that's how you actually make people buy into you and your coaching. So as you can see here, he's focusing on posting 4 different styles when it comes to YouTube. First style is journey/lifestyle videos. Since it's a personal brand, show your life at the gym, working, traveling, etc. Vlogs like day in life videos work insanely good. And the thing is, when it comes to day in life videos, is that when people watch them, it doesn't require them to focus or anything like that. They can just put that up here and do something else. But what people don't realize when it comes to day in lives is that when they are watching those videos, they are spending time with them, and when they do that, they are automatically buying into them as a coach and as a person. So that's exactly why posting lifestyle and journey videos are insanely good. Plus, it's of course also insanely easy to go viral with those type of videos and get more views, and that's what you want, because you don't want to be stuck with low views all the time. So you need some sort of content to pop off a little bit and hit a higher level when it comes to views. Then we have the value videos, and this is basically videos where he speaks to dream follower, give real advice, and show plus tell. So these are basically the videos that will basically explain how his method is working, how he helps people get from point A to point B, and those are insanely important to post. This is also the content style that you should post most of on your YouTube channel, the value, because that's why people are there in the first place. They want to see more educational content from you. Then we have the storytelling content, and in those videos you should just basically speak as if you're talking to the version of yourself when you started out or struggle with a specific problem, because this builds a real connection with you and the viewer. So that's super important, because as I told you before, people buy into your story. They don't care about your coaching, they buy into you as a coach. Then lastly, we have the proof content. This is basically just like when you talk about clients, you can also position yourself as the proof by showing your own results, and this can also be like client interviews, etc. So this is also super important to post. And if you don't have any social proof, and even if you don't have any client yet, I recommend you to just use yourself as the proof, because you're the best proof out there. So those are basically the 4 different content styles that I recommend you to post as a coach, and this is the exact styles that Marco is posting in order for him to actually close the deals and book so many calls. Then what we do is that from all of these 4 different YouTube videos here, he always drive all of that traffic to another YouTube video, which is his VSL YouTube video. And in this video, this is basically where he sells people on his coaching offer. So in this one, he firstly targets his ICP, explains his story, shows his method and how it actually works, shows as much proof as possible, and ends with a clear call to action. And this is basically the video that you can also send out to people in the DMs if they are asking how your coaching is actually working, because in that video he's basically explaining everything when it comes to that. And this is the video that is actually selling them and turning them from a viewer into a buyer. So it's super important that you have this content system and story sequence system in place if you actually want to be able to build an audience of buyers, because that's exactly what we did for Marco, and it worked extremely good. And this is just the beginning. We're going to scale him to over 5k per month using this exact method. And just so you know, Marco is not the only one winning when it comes to this. My clients are also winning, because as you can see here, they are booking multiple calls every single week, they are closing deals, and it is also working for me. I am also booking calls every single week. Some days I book up to 5 calls in a single day. So this method that I just showed you is working, not just for Marco, but for me and for my other clients too. So if you are a coach watching this video, and if you want to have me to scale your coaching business or info business, then just click the link below this video and book your call now.